right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Studio Raphael. It's a pleasure to have you here. Today, we are bringing in something a little bit new. We're spicing it up a little bit. The goal is to bring in and introduce some element of a monthly theme, something that engages us and gets us going within ourselves in order to, branch out in our creation, create something that's bigger, create something that's better, create something that is more authentic, something that's more true, and something that expresses an aspect of ourselves that, maybe we've lost touch with it. Maybe we've sort of, through cultural conditioning and the way the world works, we've kind of shoved aspects of ourselves down. So what we're trying to do is confront those things, and we want to bring them up, and then we want to express them out to the world, so that way it's no longer burdening us or our minds or anything in there. And, we get to free ourselves. We get to become free beings, and we get to simply be the true, full, authentic expression that we are. So today it looks like we got Dom with us, which is amazing. It's always a pleasure to have Dom here. He says he was getting dressed. Well, getting dressed is an act of self-love. And that's what we're talking about today, is self-love. Why? Because it's February. And February tends to, we're always seeking love from over there. We're always looking at everybody else and being like, come on, you got to give me the love and then I'll love myself. But no. When was that ever the case? When did that ever work? Was there ever a time in your life where like somebody else gave you love and then you were like, yep, now I'm better. Now I'm worthy of love, and now I feel worthy of love because that person gave it to me. Has it ever really worked? Has that ever really happened? Like if you ask yourself honestly, really, check in with yourself. Was there ever a time where somebody out there gave you love and you were like, yep, now all the problems in my life are solved and I never have to worry about love again? Is that a thing? I should look up TWIM meditation. I'm interested. What does it stand for? TWIM. It's not twin flames. I don't want to talk about twin flames. Tranquil wisdom insight meditation. That's cool. Have I heard of meta meditation? No, I haven't. These are all tools that I think we should add to the list as a part of February's process. Meta meditation, 5 benefits and tips for beginners. We should add it all in there. Meta means loving kindness. Well, that's very beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Dom, as always. It's never a practice that I've gotten into myself. I mean, I love meditation. I've definitely done a lot of it over, I think since I started picking up meditation, like in the last 6-7 years, it's definitely become a part of my regular practice. Something that I try and do consistently, whether it be like journaling is a meditation to me. There's like the very traditional Buddha style meditation, sitting there, but sometimes that doesn't do the trick. Sometimes meditation is a little more complicated than just sitting there and listening to your thoughts. Is that an oxymoron? Does that even make sense? Is that a paradox in and of itself? Technically, meditation's supposed to be very simple, but it actually feels like it's really difficult for a lot of people nowadays when we're so distracted by the world, so distracted by everything that's going on. How do we quiet the minds? How do we connect with that part of ourselves that is truly, deeply connected with a personal sense of self-love and self-worth? You think thoughts of kindness towards yourself, then a friend, then a neutral person, by repeating phrases or picturing the person or focusing on the feeling itself, or normally a combination of the three. Meta is usually done in addition to other meditation. It kind of sounds like, the Hawaiian meditation, Ho'oponopo. I'm saying it so wrong, I know. But that one's more of like a letting go of resentment type of meditation. Ho'oponopono. I'm definitely not saying it right, but a Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness that involves expressing remorse, asking for forgiveness, expressing gratitude, and expressing love in order to heal and transform relationships. Sounds pretty familiar. Sounds more or less the same. It's great though. While TWIM is basically an entire system based on meta. We can get so deep into the concepts and the configurations of meditation. Different? Really? I mean, yeah, in the sense that like meta is more generalized towards just a specific neutral style person, whereas the one I'm speaking on is more about forgiveness and reconciliation. I guess I haven't actually done the practices fully, so I'll be easy with myself in terms of my understanding of them at the moment, but you know, I've heard a lot about it, and it's definitely something that is added to the repertoire of, positive self-love practices. So, yeah, Dom, tell me a little bit as well. Like, what are some of your practices? How do you practice self-love? What do you do? For me, really these days are all about balance for me. Doing my songwriting circles has been a great way of accessing self-love for myself. Like pushing myself out of my comfort zone, getting back into songwriting and self-expression. Like these are so important to me. Even like showing up on stream is an act of self-love for me because it's something I really love doing. And, I have a tendency to sort of, I guess, like look for outer. I have a personal tendency of seeking outer approval in order to do things that I want to do. Because, if I post something on Instagram and then like I lose some followers, I'm like, oh man, why did that happen? What does that mean about me? What does that say about me? And, I make it about myself. But is it ever really about me? Maybe to the person who unfollowed me, maybe to them it is. But there's always an element of, I guess, maintaining a sense of boundaries. Boundaries are a super important aspect of self-love. Keeping ourselves firm, keeping ourselves steady. Meta, not necessarily about forgiveness and gratitude, also rare unless it relates to the person you are envisioning. Meta, not necessarily about forgiveness and gratitude. And gratitude, also rare. Right. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. It's a meditation I'd be interested in exploring, but I don't really know much on it at the moment. Retired from meditation, though. What does that mean? How do you retire from meditation? In the sense that, even cooking can be meditation. Anything can be meditation if you learn how to make it a meditative practice. It's kind of just tapping into the present moment and being present with whatever you're doing. If you're, playing a sport and you're totally present in the activity of that sport, that's a meditation. If you are, I don't know, cooking, maybe gardening. Some people find meditation in gardening. I really do feel like meditation can be found everywhere. Well, yes, I have meditation states all the time. Yeah. So, I mean, like, definitely fair enough in the sense of, I think traditional meditation, there tends to be sort of a falling away from it. Strict practice. Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. It's, I don't know, the strict practice of meditation, I definitely can relate to falling away from it. I think it's a great practice to adopt at the beginning of the journey when you're just starting to get into meditation and like learning how to just watch and observe the thoughts. But over time, kind of as you start to find a sense of peace and a sense of presence, like meditation slowly just becomes something that, is ingrained in your everyday being. You just learn how to, I guess, notice your sense of awareness in everything you're doing and bring it back to the present. And that's, a beautiful place to be in, and definitely one that I strive to maintain at all aspects of my day and all aspects of my life. Yeah, I find now when I do like a seated meditation, it's more about like a visualization practice. It's much more for me about envisioning. Like it's about seeing the big picture that I'm working towards and really keeping my eyes on the prize in a way. Like, what am I seeing? What am I feeling? Where am I? Who do I want to be? And how does that feel in my body? That to me is like what I use sort of seated strict style meditation for, but I'm not like telling myself how long I have to meditate. Generally speaking, it feels like a very flexible practice, and I think that's a good thing as well. Meditate maybe half an hour a week. Most of my altered traits I acquired drifted away. I still get third eye stuff and non-dual stuff. What's non-dual stuff? What do you mean by that? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand the nature of non-duality, but I don't know what non-dual stuff is. It's new terminology for me. Yeah, just like it's all just the general overarching theme of self-love, practicing, creating that sense of inner stillness, creating that sense of inner peace, finding a sense of calm, finding a sense of just being one with yourself and all things. Is that the truest sense of self-love, is just acknowledging you are one with everything and like really being in it and feeling grounded in it and knowing it, knowing that sense of presence. So it's a great, you know, it is a great place to be in. I don't necessarily think I'm there all the time, but I can sense its presence, and it's a beautiful thing to strive for. Experiencing states of non-duality. It has many names: Rigpa, Buddha mind, self-transcendence, headlessness, Anatta, Brahman. Right. I mean, yeah. Is that sort of like a dissolution into the void, in a sense? Like going into that space of just like stillness where the mind is kind of just absolved in itself, in a sense, I guess, not experiencing duality within the body, but just kind of being in the void of the mind. Void is a loaded term. In what sense? Void is just it's the absence but also presence of all things. It's the infinite, no? In the sense you could be referring to anything. Right. Like there's, I guess, mentions of the practice to, I think it's like Paramahansa Yogananda and like a lot of, I guess, like the big, gurus of the past generations. But the general teachings based around meditating so deeply to the point that you are lost, not like lost, but you have sort of transcended the body and you're just kind of in a still state of the mind. Like it's just kind of you're so detached from earthly thought that you're just absolved in the everything. Does that make sense? It's like, it's not necessarily something I've gone to the depth of experiencing. You become one with your experience. You become one with all things. It's less about one with your experience in particular. It's like no longer, your thoughts are not associated with the earthly experience. So whatever state of mind you're in is no longer associated with earthly being. It's simply like just pure formless thought. Like it's like there's the 4 stages of meditation, right? I think that's what they kind of, yeah. It's in Sanskrit. One is detachment from the external world. Wait, no. Is this right? Detachment from the external world, the consciousness of joy and ease, concentration, the passing away of joy with the sense of ease remaining, and passing away of ease bringing about a state of pure self-possession and equanimity. So just like absolutely dissolved from all things. I can't really put a name to it because I haven't experienced it myself. But generally speaking, it seems like the type of thing that you would get from, meditating for about 5 hours. I think it's called samadhi, Samadhi. The highest state of mental concentration that people can achieve while still bound to the body and which unites them with the highest reality. That's it. Samadhi. Type it in there. That is the deepest sense of meditation from, I believe, the Buddhist understanding. Seems like a goal of samatha, probably. I mean, considering that the root words are pretty similar, means calm. Samatha versus samadhi. Let's find out. Samadhi is concentration and samatha is practice. That's what it's telling me. The problem I have is it's a goal of a specific practice, not a general thing for all meditators. It's a goal? Right. Yeah. You did Vipassana. Yes, that the whole meditation retreat type of thing for me. That's intense. To some people that's like, that's an act of self-love, removing ourselves from the world and getting deep into that. But to me, that's like, woof. At the moment, at least, if I had no worldly obligations, if I didn't have to think about things and I could just disappear, sounds like a good time. But at the moment, no, can't do that. One is a concentration practice. One is an insight practice. I mean, I'd be interested in exploring it more, that's for sure. So to say there is a deep state you get in a concentration practice, like, cool, I just did insight, so I don't know about it. I'd have to explore it more with you, because as of now, it's I'm just learning about samatha from you. So I need to understand it more deeply. But like the sense that I get from samadhi, without getting also too off topic from self-love as well, and maybe we bring it back into self-love too, is just the general like deep concentration towards oneness and just dissolving into it all, removing ourselves from the emotional attachment and from the body and the experiences of the body. It's like, the meditative practice ideology where it's like, if you get an itch, just be aware of the itch but don't scratch it. I tend to have to scratch it because I hate when I'm itchy and trying to meditate. But that's my experience around it. But that absolute dissolution into just a state of full presence. That's the goal. If you want to look up anatta, that's what I still experience, just way less strong. The doctrine that there is in humans no permanent underlying substance that can be called the soul. Instead, the individual is compounded of 5 factors that are constantly changing. Interesting. I mean, this is like a whole study in and of itself. Maybe one day we get you on here, Dom, for we'll have a whole conversation about meditation and presence, and I think that would be really cool. If you're interested, you don't have to, but I think that would be a really interesting, maybe March is a month of renewal and rebirth. So maybe March ends up being all about meditation and mindfulness and all about instilling this practice of, what we learn in the month of self-love into ourselves. Find it hard to talk about? Well, then I'll do my best to create a program around it. How does that sound? Haven't thought much about it in 5 years. At the same time, I would treat it as an exploration, like an aspect of self-love, because I do want to keep it, somewhat centered around self-love, is giving ourselves room and space to explore these things, to explore in general, to get curious without being hard on ourselves, right? It's about just being open to new experience, being open to trying new things, experiencing different experiences, and allowing us to go through the range of what, life and existence is. So, I mean, I would just appreciate having somebody to talk with it about. So that more than anything, I wouldn't worry too much about, how well you can explain it or anything like that. But just getting the chance to chat, to me, that'd be really cool. So we'll see. No pressure. But I know you got a lot to offer on meditation and mindfulness and these concepts. And I learn a lot from it from you. So I'm sure others could as well. But yeah, I do have to wrap it up pretty shortly here. I just wanted to hop on for a quick hello today and kind of set the framework for February. I got to go do some teaching pretty soon here. And I also want to take a moment to breathe and reset myself. But it's really nice to be back here and setting the framework for the future of what I really hope to do here. February is going to be a month of self-love and really going within ourselves, checking in on our boundaries, respecting ourselves, honoring who we are, And yeah, let's explore these topics with a sense of curiosity and figure out, in a sense, how to take it and express it into our art. You know, by the end of February, I really hope to have a song myself that I get to share. That's a big part of this process for me too. I want to be writing and getting myself back into the creativity and pushing myself to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm really hoping that by doing that, I can inspire others to do the same. So, yeah. Dom says there's like a million meditation schools and they all have their own hierarchy. It gets very specialized. Yeah, but we're not worried about them. This is Studio Raphael. We're here. The presence of the here and now. We'll figure it out for ourselves. Thank you so much for the discussion, Dom. Greatly appreciated. And yeah, to anybody interested, I am hosting sort of like bi-weekly at the moment, songwriting circles as well. If you have songs that you want to share with the community, if you're really hoping to improve your songwriting, please join us. They're super fun. All times are in Pacific, so it's 7 to 10 p.m. at the moment on Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays, kind of seeing where it goes. Just, send us a message. And if you have anything to add to the conversation about self-love, your experiences with self-love, anything that, you feel, any practices you have, anything that you can add to the conversation and help others build on their own practices too, it's always a help. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Thank you, Dom, for your great conversation today as well. If you think I should specialize in TWIM, there's a PDF online. It's like 70 pages. All right. Send it to me. Send it in the Discord. I'll have hopefully be able to take a read. I'm in school at the moment these days, so that's like keeping me really busy learning, coaching, and learning how to hold space for people. So, that's an important aspect of what I want to do here with Studio Raphael and with my circles. Just cultivating the creative in all of us and really allowing the self and the uniqueness of every person to shine. So, yeah, man. Thanks again. My name's Aiden, Studio Raphael, and hopefully I'll see you around the studio sometime. Take care. And don't mind me while I click. Choo-choo.